from institutional funding to audience-supported journalism. Section 1. The Great Disruption: How the Internet Upended Journalism's Finances. The Internet arrived, and with it came a seismic shift that shook the very foundations of the news industry. For more than a century, the business of journalism operated on a stable, predictable financial model. This model was built on the physical scarcity of news. Information was printed on paper, and that paper had to be bought. This simple transaction fueled a vast ecosystem of reporters, editors, photographers, and printers. It paid for the buildings they worked in and the equipment they used. The Internet, however, introduced a new reality. Information was no longer scarce, it was abundant, and much of it was free. This fundamentally changed the public's relationship with news content. This new digital landscape presented a profound paradox for news organizations. On one hand, the web offered an unprecedented opportunity to reach a global audience instantly. A story from a small local newsroom could be read by millions. On the other hand, this very ease of distribution became a critical financial vulnerability. Section 2. The Crumbling Pillars: Why the Old Money Model Failed. The traditional financial structure of journalism rested on three main pillars: print sales, subscriptions, and advertising. Each of these pillars was incredibly strong in the pre-internet era. Daily newspaper sales provided a direct and consistent stream of revenue. People bought a paper on the way to work or had it delivered to their doorstep. This physical transaction was a cornerstone of the business. Subscriptions offered stability and enabled long-term planning and ambitious reporting. Advertising was the most significant pillar of all, with companies paying handsomely to reach a captive audience. With near monopoly over local attention, newspapers could set ad rates. This river of ad cash paid for large staffs, foreign bureaus, and in-depth investigations. It was the engine powering the news-gathering machine. The Internet systematically dismantled each of these pillars. Free online content directly competed with print sales and subscriptions. The habit of paying for news was broken. Scarcity vanished, and news became a commodity. Advertisers chased precision targeting on platforms, creating a digital ad duopoly that left publishers with scraps. Faced with this existential crisis, journalism had to innovate to survive. The most significant shift was a pivot away from mass advertising toward direct audience support. 4 new revenue streams: memberships, digital subscriptions, and paywalls ask loyal readers to pay a recurring fee for access. At scale, large national outlets demonstrate this model's viability. Readers become patrons of the journalism they value. Donations and crowdfunding empower individual journalists and small outlets to launch sustained work. Nonprofit models mix reader donations with grants to fund public interest reporting. This reframes journalism as a public service, like a museum or a public broadcaster. Hybrid or metered paywalls balance reach and ad revenue while converting the most engaged readers. Partnerships with platforms, universities, and foundations can provide a vital lifeline, but they also raise questions about editorial independence and influence over coverage. Targeted grants fund specific beats like climate or public health, aligning resources with community needs. This fundamental change in how journalism is funded has led to an equally fundamental change in how its success is measured. In the old ad-driven world, the primary metric of value was reach. The goal was as many eyeballs as possible, because bigger audiences meant higher ad rates. That created incentives for sensational, easily shareable content that chased fleeting trends. Clicks became the measure of success, whether or not the content truly informed the public. Today, the calculus has shifted from reach to loyalty and trust. In a reader-funded model, the key metric is how many people find a story so valuable they will pay for it. This incentivizes unique, high-quality, deeply reported work that cannot be found elsewhere. The goal is a long-term relationship, earning trust and demonstrating indispensable value. Quality, not quantity, is the new watchword. Newsrooms engage directly through newsletters, forums, and events, guided by audience data. The wall between newsroom and public is more porous, and transparency about mission and methods is essential. Trust is the most valuable currency, earned through openness and rigorous ethical reporting. The disruption of journalism's business model is not merely an industry problem, it has profound implications for the health of our democracy. Society needs professional reporters acting as watchdogs, investigating corruption and explaining complex policies. They provide context citizens need to make informed decisions. When newsrooms shrink or close, this vital public service diminishes, and communities become more vulnerable to misinformation. Reader-funded models offer promise, but paywalls can create information haves and have-nots. Supporting essential journalism while keeping it accessible is a major challenge. Subscriptions incentivize deep analysis for dedicated audiences, while donations fuel public interest investigations. But there's a risk of neglecting less popular yet vital beats, like local utilities or zoning. The internet didn't kill journalism. It forced a new economic reason to exist, centered on active audience support. Value is measured by depth of trust. Credible information is a public good. It is worth investing in. It is worth supporting. It is worth paying for.